What is up, survivors? Welcome to the Primal Hour podcast. My name is Ian Talbert. Some of you guys might know me by the call sign Primal, and I will be your host today. So look, guys, I wanted to kick off our very first episode with a little insight on what you can expect to listen to on this show. I've wanted to start a podcast for quite a while now, and I believe it's way overdue at this point. But you see, guys, I'm a person who likes to express things. I like to say how I'm feeling, I like to share my wisdom, and I like to create things. And in my relentless effort to be heard, I've created content on every medium out there, from Facebook posts to blogs to videos to Instagram photos and now podcasts. On this show, I'm going to be talking about all things preparedness and survival. Some days we'll talk about bushcraft and prepping and off-grid living, and other days we'll talk about fitness, combatives, and personal development. You know, we'll talk all about how to enhance your mindset and create a fulfilling life. You know, after all, guys, what's the point of surviving, if we're not actively trying to learn how to thrive in all of these aspects of life, right? You see, I've got a very strategic approach to this concept of preparedness. I'm actually about to start writing a book about it, and I wanted to use this podcast to shed light on it all along the way so you guys can stay informed on that. But before we get into all that, let me tell you a little bit about myself, just in case you're new to me, you're new to Mask, and this is the first time you've ever, heard from us. So look, like I said, my name's Ian Talbert. I'm currently 25 years old, and I sit here right now writing curriculum for training courses and scripts for videos, and I'm thinking back to my days in high school. I never had this vision for my life, guys. My vision back then was a nearsighted view of each weekend with goals as big as playing video games all night and day. I skipped school 3 out of 5 days a week, and, the days that I managed to show up, I either said screw it and drove back home, or I slept all day because I stayed up all night. I would literally go into school, eat breakfast with all my friends, and hang around till the first bell rung, but after that, I just said screw it, and I hopped in the car and drove back home. And at the time, all I had was my learner's permit at the time. So, I had a few great friends growing up, but I still hung out with a handful of losers. And when I hung out with them, I would smoke, I'd get drunk, I'd party, I'd get into fights. I was literally the definition of what most people would consider a lost cause. Like, if there was a vote at graduation on who would be most likely to fail, I'd have probably been number one. I wouldn't know, though, because I eventually went on to quit school and I just got my GED. I just wanted to go to work and make money and just get away from school altogether. I still hate school to this day, and, it just never did it for me. I wouldn't change the decision I made to quit because, my life wouldn't be what it is right now, so I don't regret anything. And today, I'm constantly asked why I continue to give my time and help, what most people consider lost causes. It's simple, really. It's because I was a lost cause myself, and the one thing that pissed me off more than anything, one thing that really, really got under my skin was the thought of people counting me out because I was down. They might not have been vocal about it, but, you could just tell when you're around somebody, and you can tell when they're judging you. And, that really, really pissed me off when people would just count me out, just because I was down. So look, guys, you're never out of the fight. You are never fucking out. Don't let anybody tell you or belittle you or anything, revolved around that. You are never out of the game. Life can dramatically change in just a few short years the moment you decide to wake up. For me, that switch was flipped from within my soul. I flipped that switch from inside myself. For some people, it happens from outsider influence. And for most people, it never happens at all. That switch can flip at any time, though. But one thing that is on you, if it gets flipped, one thing that is on you, you control this, only you can do this. One thing that controls, how your life evolves from that point is whether or not you decide to start being proactive. My switch flipping, it might have been luck, who knows? But since that day, it's been all hard work, nothing but hard work and relentless determination to be the best version of myself that I can be. There's no fucking luck to it now. A lot of people might look at me now and say, oh man, you're so lucky. But look, guys, there's no fucking luck to it. Ever since that day back in high school, right whenever I got out, I went through a couple years of trying to figure out who I was, trying to find my passion and figure out what I'm good at, what I wanted to do for a career, who I wanted to be. But once I found that out, there's no luck involved. It's been nothing but hard work and relentless determination on my goals. My only regret at this point in my life is that I didn't stop dreaming sooner. I wished I would have woken up a lot sooner. And, guys, your life can and it will dramatically change in just a few short years if you make the decision. Like I said, I sit here right now, I'm writing educational material, making videos, building a business, and raising a family with a beautiful wife and 2 perfect kids. And that's quite the contrast from the simple-minded GED holding piece of shit that I used to be with no real direction. And that was just a short time ago. So after high school, I went on to work for a while, and after a couple of years of that, I decided to join the infantry. I was a shitbag at the time, if I'm being honest, and I had no real direction, and quite frankly, I thought that the military would help me develop that discipline that I needed in my life, and I honestly attribute a lot of my mindset changes and my waking up to going through the military and going through that process of just being broke down and being physically broke down, mentally broke down, and having to come out of that and become a better person in the process. So a lot of my, whatever I would consider success or what anybody else considers success in my life, I attribute that to going through the military, but not just going through the military. Like I said, a lot of my switch flipping came from within. I didn't have, big role models to look up to in my life. I had some supportive family, but I also had some family that should have been there that wasn't during these times. And, ultimately I had to rely on myself because I didn't have the friends. I wasn't friends with a lot of rich people or good mentors that ran businesses or lived a positive lifestyle at the time. So, ultimately it came down to me getting fed up, and I just got tired of being out of shape. I got tired of not living the life that I wanted to live. I got tired of being broke all the time. So I flipped that fucking switch. So because I only had a GED at the time, and the Marines and the active duty Army, they were both requiring a diploma at the time. So I ended up having to join the National Guard. So at that point, I served 3 years in the Guard and eventually got out to go the family route. I met my wife right as I got out of basic training. She texted me on graduation day, and we linked up when I got back, started hanging out and started dating. And then eventually, that all unfolded. We got married, and now we've got 2 beautiful kids. And, I really couldn't be happier about that. And so I went the family route because, after my 3 years in, the wife really wanted me to stop and come home and do something different, whatever it might be, whether it was running a business or working. She just wanted me to be home, and, I wanted to be home at the same time, but there was a big part of me that still was attached to the military and wanted to stay in. And I mean, hell, I wanted to go all in, go to Ranger School and try to do everything. I was going to take every school that they would let me take, but the transitional process to go from National Guard to active duty after I got in, and they told me I could do this, but the process was like a 2-year period, to go to active duty. So by the time my ETS date rolled around, I was ready to get out, and I still couldn't really even transition into active duty from there. So if I was to do that, I would have had to re-enlist for another 6 years and deny my wife what she wanted, and ultimately I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I'm kind of happy with that decision. But again, there was a big void in my life, once I got out of the military. So I went the family route and the business route, which was Mask Tactical. And it wasn't always called Mask Tactical, though. Some of you OGs in here, you might recall it as Survival Nation. Some of you guys that have been here since the beginning might remember us as Survival Nation. And, long before this, before I even joined the military, I worked with my dad in a printing company, and, I got to learn a lot of good skills from that. And then, I also ran a little retail outlet store of one of his stores where we bought, sold, and traded all kinds of goods and precious metals as well. So I got a lot of experience, in sales and communication and influencing and all that kind of good stuff. And a lot of that translates into how I'm good at making videos and presenting and doing all that stuff today. So I really am appreciative of all that stuff that I went through, because without it I wouldn't be as good as I am at my craft today. So So back in the day, as Survival Nation, it started out as a simple Facebook fan page for memes and outdoor shit. And in fact, it wasn't even really a goal of mine at the time to turn it into a business. I wasn't thinking about business when I got out of the military. It wasn't until after a little while of being tired of working for someone else after I got out that I decided that I need to go into business for myself and I need to chase some dreams. And so after a short time of being out of the military, I started experiencing a really big void in my life. At the time, I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. And fast forward a couple more years and Survival Nation got tossed out and I decided to go all in on this dream that I had. And we rebranded as Mask Tactical, and, a new fire ignited inside of me at the time. And, everything was going good. Mask Tactical was a blog for survival knowledge at the time. And I was making blog posts and creating videos and posting on our Facebook page and whatnot, trying to build up our social media pages, doing some Instagram posting here and there. And it still wasn't enough. So my vision needed to evolve. And this is where my business plan started really forming. It wasn't until this point that I really got a grasp on what I wanted to do. I knew that at this point that, I wanted to be in this niche. I wanted to create survival content and help train people and become an instructor of, combatives and all these kinds of things. And, so my vision needed to evolve at this point because it wasn't really a solid business plan. So, after doing what I was doing for another year or so, I noticed that I was still experiencing this void in my life. Something was missing. There was a missing piece to my puzzle. And it was at this point in the business that I decided that it was time to try and be innovative. There's tons of other blogs and stuff out there. There's tons of other people that create videos. What was I doing that was any different than anybody else other than maybe creating some content that was a little bit higher quality than the average creator out there? So I had finally found the missing link in my life, and it was that camaraderie between like-minded individuals the military gave me, as well as a community that I could be a part of that helped me develop real-life skills. So everything that the military was giving me, minus all the bullshit. Obviously, the military's got a lot of bullshit in it. But, there's just something about it that when you leave, it just leaves you with a void. And so, short of re-enlisting, there really wasn't any solid options out there for something like this. If I wanted to be a part of a community that helped me build the skills that I wanted to learn, right? Like survival skills and outdoor skills and combat skills and stuff like that, I would have had to re-enlist. So there was not a lot of options out there for anything like that. So I didn't want to re-enlist, so I thought to myself, I'm going to start a militia of my own. So I did, and it failed. I didn't understand why at first, and it took me some time to come to the realization that many people frown upon the term militia, and that what I was actually building at the time was an illegal standing army. Look, obviously not all militias are illegal, but the way we were building it was illegal and ultimately a really, really stupid way to go. But I didn't know any better. I was still young in this game and didn't really know fully I didn't really fully know what I wanted, I think. But, I jumped the gun. I didn't do my research, and I simply just tried to fill that void in my life because I was just tired of it being there. So there's a lot of reasons why it didn't work out, but what I yielded from that adventure was a few good supporters and, a very small proof of concept. The proof of concept was that there's other people out there experiencing this void. This void that I was experiencing wasn't mine alone. I was sharing it with many others, men and women, mostly veterans, but many normal people across the globe as well. People, at the end of the day, a lot of people have this void because people want to be a part of something bigger. They want to be a part of something that challenges them, something that supports them, and something that can continuously help them grow. So I went back to the drawing board and I made a new game plan. That's when I birthed the Warrior Tribe. So, we're doing away with the masked militia at this point, and that's when the idea for the Warrior Tribe was birthed. The Warrior Tribe, I wanted it to become a global community for anyone who wants to become the best version of themselves. A community of prepared savages who kick life's ass. No bitches, no nothing. Just people who are savages and want to kick life's ass. So with some new innovations combined with a hint of that military structure that everybody loved, it finally filled the void. Not just for myself, but for many people all over the world. We've got members in Australia, Canada, Sweden, Germany, Denmark, and all across the U.S. And, the Warrior Tribe is for anyone looking to take their preparedness to the next level. It's for anyone looking to enhance their health and fitness, survival skills, and everything in between. What most people lack in their life is real accountability. And, we're the worst person in the world to hold ourselves accountable. If the only person that I had to rely on to hold myself accountable was myself, I'd be in a world of hurt because, at the end of the day, it's like, how everybody talks about going to the gym, you got to post a selfie or post a video or it didn't happen. It's that, while that does sound stupid, it carries a lot of weight. If nobody else knows we've got this goal but ourselves, we are the worst person to hold ourselves accountable, because if we're the only person who knows we fail, or knows that we want to quit, or knows that we want to give up, it's a lot easier to do so. So when you put that, when you place that in someone else's hands, when you place that goal in somebody else's hands, and you project that to the universe that, hey, I'm going to fucking accomplish this goal, and if I don't, you can make fun of me and laugh at me and, tell everybody how stupid I am and all this kind of stuff, and nobody wants that. So my advice is to always seek accountability in something else other than yourself. Obviously, you want to have good self-accountability, right? Like, always keep building and developing that aspect of yourself, but never rely on that completely by itself. So, like I said, what most people lack in life is real accountability, and the tribe provides that in many different ways. You see, most training in today's world goes down online, and what I've identified is a very critical flaw within the digital training industry. And that's that it leaves the students with a gap between knowledge and skill development. Digital training is a huge, huge growing industry. Companies are spending billions and billions of dollars to train and educate their employees and things of that nature. And you wouldn't typically think about a survival and preparedness organization providing digital training other than your basic, YouTube tutorials and whatnot. But we've created a really, really unique structure that actually bridges the gap between knowledge and skill development. Our Warrior Tribe bridges that gap by providing a strategic platform for our members to not only learn new things, but build real skills in the process. You see, we do this through a unique training challenge-based system where you can actually win free gear in the process. And we not only provide the knowledge you need, we challenge and incentivize you to do so in many different ways. So, look, guys, it's one thing to know how to, for example, build a bow drill fire, a primitive bow drill fire, friction fire. It's one thing to know how to do that. And it's a whole completely different thing to actually be able to do it, because you never know when you're going to be out, when it's raining, when it's snowing, when it's cold out, when you've lost all your motor skills because your hands are numb. When there's other variables in play, like what wood types and all these different things that you've got to learn. And the only way to truly develop skill over knowledge is to actually get out and experience it, get hands-on with that objective to develop real skills. So, we also approach preparedness from a very different, aspect, but we also approach it from every aspect. So I can ramble on and on and on and on and on for days about our tribe here. It's truly an amazing culture of badass warriors from all across the globe. But look, my friend, I would rather you experience it for yourself. I don't like sitting around and talking about it all day and night. And, I would rather you just simply experience it for yourself and hear it firsthand from our actual tribe members, other than me. So the way that we do that right now is, we have a 30-day trial for only $1. You can get in and join us for 30 full complete days for only $1. And so you've got nothing to lose, my friend. So you should dive in and check it out if you're interested and if you're serious about your survivability. There's a lot more perks to it. So you can go check that out at masstactical.com/join the tribe. You'll see join the tribe or enlist buttons or all that kind of stuff everywhere. It's embedded in our YouTube videos. It's in our blog posts. It's all over the website. We post it all over the place. So, go check that out if you're interested. So look, guys, the Primal Hour podcast might not always last an hour. Sometimes it might be 30 minutes or 15 minutes or 27 minutes. I'm going to try to do my best to make it worth listening to. Some days we'll talk all about survival skills. Some days we'll talk about mindset, and others we might talk about MMA fighting. I don't know. As long as it nests under the preparedness title, we will eventually hit it one way or the other. I promise you that. I also plan on bringing in other trainers and influencers onto the show. People some of you guys probably already know and listen to, but at the end of the day, I want to know who you guys would like to hear from and what you'd like to hear about. I want to cater this show to what you guys want. You see, I've built this entire operation from the ground up since the beginning, since day one, and all of our following by trying to bring you guys what you'd like to see and hear. So I'm going to keep trying to do that because it's worked all along the way. And at the end of the day, I try to be personal and approachable and all these things. So, I genuinely want to know who you are. I want to connect with you. I want to see how I can help you. I want to see how our operation can provide you something of value to your life. I might not always say something you agree with. I might be controversial, and I might curse, more than you care for. But know that I am me. I'm 100% fucking raw, real, and transparent, and I will always be so. I decided that a long time ago in my life, nearly a decade ago. I was going to start being real. I was going to start being me, and my life has dramatically improved day after day ever since I made that commitment. I would encourage you guys to become that way too if you're not. You'll find that in a world made up of fake people, the real ones out there tend to be overwhelmingly satisfied when they find someone authentic to be around. So hey, look guys, if you dig our first episode, be sure to share the shit out of it, like it, drop me some comments and all that good shit. I want to hear from you. I know it might not mean a lot to you guys, but it really helps us out and it means a lot to me. And remember, without our allies, we wouldn't be able to keep delivering the content you guys know and enjoy. So, we're bringing this podcast to you with help from our alliance partners, so be sure to show them some love. You guys have got 3vgear.com. 3V Gear is known for quality outdoors gear for budget-minded preppers, from gun cases, accessory pouches, and EDC bags to long-term bug-out bags. I really, really thoroughly enjoy their stuff. You can get 15% off with our discount code MASK at checkout from 3vgear.com. You've got CoreEssentials.com. That's Core with a K, K-O-R-E, Essentials.com. Core Essentials provides top-quality gun belts and EDC essentials such as RFID blocking wallets and a lot more. I'm a pretty big fan of them as well. You can get 10% off of CoreEssentials.com with our discount code MASKTactical. That's capital M and a capital T, Mask Tactical. So you've also got SpartanArmorSystems.com. Look, guys, I'm a real big fan of Spartan Armor Systems. They're actually kind of sponsoring my range build project. Spartan Armor Systems sells a wide variety of tactical and outdoors gear. They're well known for high-quality body armor, plate carriers, and reactive steel AR-500 target systems. And you can get 10% off of SpartanArmorSystems.com with our code MASK, all caps, at checkout. Can't forget Stanford Outdoor Supplies. StanfordOutdoorSupply.com brings you guys high-quality survival kits and outdoors gear. And, from shelter building to fire making, hunting, fishing, water gathering, and much more. They have a BOSS kit for everything. BOSS stands for Bug Out Survival Supplements, and their kits are really awesome. You guys can get 10% off with all caps MASK SOS at checkout. That's StanfordOutdoorSupply.com. Next up, we got SturdyGuns.com. Sturdy Guns is really cool, guys. They make wooden guns, swords, shields, and much more. They're perfect for kids to play and train proper firearms handling at a very young age. This is something I really wish I would have had growing up as a kid. And you guys can get 10% off with all caps MASK at checkout from SturdyGuns.com. Next up, we got Jinja Ninja Outdoors, and this guy makes some really, really, really high quality custom made knives and outdoors gear. You guys can get 10% off with him with our code MASK, all caps. Again, next up, we've got the SurvivalOutpost.com. Look, guys, the Survival Outpost is like the Prepared Mind to eBay. It's a site that features a wide variety of tactical gear, outdoor supplies, and preparedness gear from manufacturers and retailers all across the globe. So once again, guys, welcome to the Primal Hour podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I hope you check back in for the next episode. Be sure to reach out to me and let me know. Add me on Facebook as a friend. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next show, and visit us at masktactical.com. I'm still getting a feel for everything. I'm getting used to how this all works and everything like that, so bear with us. And I'm unsure at this point how frequent our cast will be, but I aim for it to become a consistent part of what we do. So till next time, guys, I'm Ian Primal Talbert. wage war, my friends.